Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. We got to talk about Louisville because this search has been all over the map. It started out with everyone saying, yeah, I think it's going to be Dusty May. And then it wasn't Dusty May. And then it went from Dusty May to, is it Shaheen? Is it Pat Kelsey? Is it Josh Schertz? Is it now Richard Pitino is the name that's getting thrown around now? Where do they go? What do they do? And how much do you mess up when everyone knows you're going to fire your coach in January, and now we're sitting here 3 days away, 4 days, 6 days away from April, and you still don't have a vacancy hired, and you just got sniped by a program in the Big Ten that probably isn't as good of a basketball school as you are.
Look, I don't want to read too much into the Dusty thing because I think at the end of the day, Michigan was a better fit for Dusty. I think I don't think this was about Louisville. I think it was about Michigan with the Dusty decision. That being said, Louisville spent way too much time worrying about candidates that were never coming. I mean, if Dusty played them, Scott Drew played them. This search has been chaotic, and now to be in a spot where your options are either mid-major coaches who've never won a game in the NCAA tournament, or Richard Pitino, who, if his last name was Richard Smith, would not be a candidate for this job. What are we doing? And look, I understand they want to be careful with who they hire, and they don't want to bring in someone with shaky past. But at some point, you need to hire a dude who's proven. It's hard for me to gamble this job. It's such a big job, and the expectations right now, like this moment in this program is so pivotal. I have a hard time just rolling the dice and saying, "Oh, Pat Kelsey, you're a good coach. Maybe this will work." Right? That feels really, really risky. Look, I've always kind of said that maybe Eric Musselman winds up kind of being the last man standing here and just sticks around and nobody really wants him, and then they just kind of get stuck with him. And the more I think about it, the more I think that may happen here in the next couple of days, because if they can't rally behind Richard Pitino or Pat Kelsey or someone like this, and I think that's going to divide all the boosters and decision makers and whatnot, then I don't know who they're going to get behind. And maybe at some point you say, all right, well, this guy makes the Sweet 16 pretty much every year. Why don't we just roll the dice with this guy?
Yeah, I still think the most funny outcome would have been if John Calipari found his soft landing by heading across the state and going to Louisville. Tyler, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of 17-year-old high school senior Tyler Hansbrough. And let's pretend that you are being recruited by this Louisville program, right? And you are evaluating schools and looking at all this stuff, and you see this going on. How does that impact the way that you look at it? And how difficult is it going to be for them, even after they make this hire? Do we even trust that this is the right decision? Do we trust that this is the right guy? How are you going to be able to convince recruits that it took you 3 months to be able to figure out if this is the dude that you actually want? And it feels like it's probably not going to be the dude that you actually wanted at the end of the day.
The way I would look at it if I was in high school, actually, I was being recruited by Missouri when they were going through a lot of issues. And I didn't go to Missouri. I didn't really take that recruiting all that seriously. So it's hard to really look at a school when they really don't have a clear direction. And, right now, Louisville is an absolute mess. And I'm not sure many recruits are looking at that as a landing spot. They're going to have to find ways to make it appealing through the portal, or some other NIL resources are going to have to come out.
Sweeney, imagine if it's Richard Pitino. Just imagine that. How fun! That's as good. That's as funny of a coaching situation that we're going to end up with, I think, that you could possibly imagine.
It'd be unbelievable. It'd be an unbelievable amount of pressure on Richard, right? I mean, think about how much weight he would carry walking into that job. And it doesn't mean he can't handle it, but I mean, he is always it has been hard to deal with being a Pitino in his career. And he's tried to get away from it at times and go, work for Billy Donovan and whatnot. But I mean, to go and be the head coach at Louisville, being the guy who has to fix it, who has to be the savior, man, that's a heck of an ask.
Yeah, and for the record, Richard Pitino made the NCAA tournament a couple times at Minnesota, which is not an easy job, and he just made the NCAA tournament and won the Mountain West tournament with New Mexico this year. He's a pretty good coach. He may not be his dad, but he's a pretty good coach. And I think that you could, there's worse ways that you could end up, or guys that you could end up with, but it still would be just absolutely hilarious if he ended up as a head coach at Louisville. He's already tired of listening to people compare him to his dad. Imagine how that would work if he was the head coach at Louisville. Listen, thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.